you see, aside from the Olympics, I don't know if you want to give your predictions, but I think so far, those are great points. Did you see Simone's documentary?
Yes.
What did you think about it? Is there only 2 episodes, or is there going to be more, or is it
3? I think episodes.
Oh, total?
3, 2, something.
I've only
like
seen
that.
2.
It was short. It was definitely short.
I've only seen 2.
And I don't know if they're gonna add anything onto it.
I thought that because they ended right before trials, so I think that I was like, why isn't there a 3rd episode documenting trials? But they're probably editing it. If there is, they're probably editing it currently. And if there's a 4th episode, it's not gonna come out till afterwards for like documenting the Olympics. But what did you think? Did you like it?
I liked it. I think it was a good way for them to put out, kind of like their perspective and stuff. I think with the whole just kind of going back and them showing how the old system and the new system and stuff like that, I think it was a good way to put things in place and in people's perspective of, okay, gymnastics is not always, what we thought it was for a very long time. Things are changing, things are evolving, and we have to be very open into, as the newer generation of coaches of
us,
of seeing that and learning from that and doing our best. And that's what I was talking about in the sense of, I don't think it's really just about me. It's really us giving them the experience that they want. And I think it really proved how tough it was, and how even if they were at an Olympic podium and stuff like that, it still wasn't enough. It wasn't really filling for them in a positive way,
Yeah, you were talking about us being stubborn at our previous job before with that vault situation, but I think that part of what you were getting at is that we were able to recognize part of that system. That's not to say that we were working under a bad system, that the head coach had bad intentions or anything like that. I still talk to her. You still talk to her. I still ask for advice sometimes, but there was remnants of that system there, and we could feel it, we could see it.
And it's just really hard to blame somebody, and it's just kind of like, I was talking to Sebastian about this because I saw a post on Instagram about just like generations and how it was like some cups of coffee, and it was just like passing it on to the next person and passing it on, and it's like, how do you stop that kind of like generational curse? And it's like somebody's just like putting water inside it, and so it like it flows, right? And so it's clear, right? And it's like being that one person. And I was kind of telling him, I want to be that one person of like, you kind of stop that crap, and you're like, okay, you don't have to be that, or you don't have to, and I feel like it's really hard for certain people, and I think it's also a personality thing, but it's just like stopping and realizing that it's not okay, or it wasn't okay, or at moments it didn't feel okay, and then so why would I keep doing that? You know what I mean? And so
but there's that maturity again that I was talking about, like that, and I 100% think you are that person, so especially for your kids. You and I have talked about, maybe not directly like on the nail, but we've like hinted at conversations because we used to work together. We spend time as coaches outside of the gym thinking about how to make your kids better, right? Yeah. So you and I have had conversations where we're saying, where we say like, we have to do better as adults, not as like a coach, not as like, but just as adults. Like that system doesn't work. Or parts of that system doesn't work, and like this is how I'm gonna do things. This is, we were rebellious about certain things, right? Like,
and I think looking at the documentary and then kind of looking back, I think there's a lot of times where now we just kind of stop and laugh about it, and it was like, now as adults we can stop and realize that it wasn't such a big deal, and it's like, okay, now we can kind of see the funny side of it, but as children it's really hard for them to see that perspective. And I think what has helped me has been that I'm a mom too, and so I kind of put myself in my children's shoes, and I'm like, how would it feel if somebody was treating my child like that? Or
that's what Bray said also.
Right. And so then it's hard because you're like, okay, I don't want that. I wouldn't want that for them. So why would I want that for somebody else's kid? That child is also just as important as mine, So
correct.
It's just like stopping and realizing that it's not just for a gold medal, or it's everything that comes with it. Because at the end of the day, we're probably going to put that gold medal in a closet somewhere,
I don't even remember how many. I can't for the life of me. I remember how many bar champions I've had.
Right.
I can't.
And I feel like
I've had
that's
some, but I just
feel like
can't.
that's something that like some people have. I think I've like when I'm planning my banquets and stuff, I always look back at like just how other people have done things, and it's like because I'm kind of newer to the head coach stuff, so when I came to this gym, I kind of brought back after COVID, a lot of things kind of got left behind, so I started trying to pick up those things, and so it's like okay, kind of looking back, and I was like, should I be writing down like and like saying like we've got this many gold medals and these many silver medals and these many like and then I'm like, well, now it's too late because the banquet's tomorrow, but to like it's just kind of giving the kids that moment and congratulating for whatever, and I am saying like their scores and whatever, and we're bringing up those things, but it's like I don't think I've ever sat down and like really wrote down like I've had these many beam champions or floor champions or whatever. I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, this is not to say that those gold medals don't matter.
Right.
They matter to the kid.
Right.
They matter to the athlete. But the point that I think we're making, to be 100% clear and distinct, like our joy is not rooted in how many medals you have.
Right.
Because again, I can't remember them. I can't remember how many. But what I can remember is like the smile on the kid's face. Yeah. What I can remember is like how hard they worked for that. What I can remember is that this kid was struggling so hard on this skill, had a mental block, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then all of a sudden like achieved it. And like, even if they didn't get first place, they got a 9-1. And it was just, like, I remember those things more so than I remember like this shining glory of a moment of like, oh my God, I'm the champion of the world. Like I don't.
And I think this is something that I've also kind of picked up from you specifically. And I think it's something that we've been very adamant about coaching together before, has been that we have also been very, very good at celebrating our kids for those small achievements, and saying like, okay, it wasn't a gold medal, it was a third place medal, or it was a fifth place medal, but did you see how much it took us to get there? You know what I mean? Like it went from being this to being that, the process is really recognizing the process and letting the kids know that we were aware of everything. And even if at the end of the day, it didn't put her at the gold medal, at the first place podium, it was still something that was really big individually for her. And that
100%.
was way more important than the medal at the end of the day.
100%. I had 2 kids in level 9 this year, and when we started the season, one of them asked me like point blank, do you think I'm going to make it to Westerns? And I was like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And I didn't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
I didn't know how to
like. You want to be honest, but at the same time, it's like you also don't want to.
I don't want to like get them filled with hope. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like just based on what we're dealing with right now, it's gonna be very hard. I don't want to set you up for disappointment. And then both of them made it to Westerns. Nice. And I was like, oh God. But like, and it's not like they did like phenomenal at Westerns or anything, but
it's still a big achievement.
Such a big deal because of where we had started, right? And I had started here at the gym in January, so like it was in the middle of the season that we were making this progress, which is even more of a monumental growth, right? Because like nobody grows during season. Yeah. People clean up during season. Yeah. So it was whatever, right? We can get to that another day. But I was so proud of them because of what you're saying, because of like it really didn't matter at that point. Once they qualified, it was like whatever happens is not really that important. Because we have achieved so much in like such a small amount of time that like that alone is the win. That alone is the W.